Hey guys, we're here.
Hi, I'm here.
Are we streaming yet? I always like to give it a minute because it seems like it takes it a couple of
There.
minutes to
I
catch up.
do. There we go.
All right, we're here. Good deal. Well, I'm glad we're live. I'm Rick with BamAquatics here. And normally Brandon has been joining me on these live streams, but he has decided to kind of take a step back maybe and focus a little bit more on his family. He's still going to be around. He still may show up in the chat. But he just wanted to kind of do that, and I applaud him for putting priorities as where priorities should be, and so that's amazing. So we'd love to have him anytime he wants to join us, but he won't be with us on a weekly basis anymore. So I'm hoping to have some more great guests like I have tonight. I've got Liz here with me from OneFishTwofishROC. So Liz, why don't you say hello?
Hi, everybody. Does the sound okay? Am I sounding all right?
You sound good to me, Liz. I think everybody can hear you. Can everybody hear Liz okay?
Is it all right? Oh, I look like a dork as usual. It's good to see you all.
Yeah, we've got quite several people here in the chat. I don't have it pulled up where I can see how many, but I know we've got Bob, we've got Gary, we've got Arachnid Aquatics, Raccoon Creek, Nature Road, Blues Underground. So we've got quite a few coming in. Bob's doing his mod thing and putting Liz's channel on there, which is great. We want to share some love with her. Hopefully some of you guys, hopefully you guys have seen her, but you may not have. If you haven't, you need to get on over there and check out her channel and subscribe to her as well. We're just going to get together and we're just going to have a little fun and talk a little bit tonight like we usually do. So anyway, Liz, why don't you tell us just a little bit about you, kind of where you are and that kind of thing, where in the world you are. Everybody here knows I'm from good old Bama, so a little bit about yourself, maybe just a brief introduction.
Sure. I'm right now underneath a blizzard. I live in Rochester, New York. That is why there is a big capital ROC at the end of my name. It's my airport code. But at least you know I'm not the same as the fish store that Joey shops at. So I get asked that a lot. What is the ROC? So yes, Rochester, New York, the southern shore of Lake Ontario. And we're about an hour and a half east of Buffalo, which of course is the snow armpit of the world or so. So that's where I'm at. I've lived here the majority of my life, born in Pennsylvania, but pretty much up here ever since.
All right. Well, I can tell that you're not from this neck of the woods anyway. Our accent
No,
is definitely different.
it's an awful accent. I know I hate it.
Oh, no, but it's not awful. It's just different than what mine is. You can definitely tell that I add a lot of extra syllables to everything I say. So, yeah, I wondered too, Bob, and that's something I didn't even think to ask is about the ROC. Yeah, Bob said he was wondering about that, but felt too stupid to ask what the ROC was for. The One Fish, Two Fish, I think, comes from a Dr. Seuss book. Is that right?
Yeah, it does. It does. I did not come up with the name. A now long ex-boyfriend, I don't even know if I remember. But anyways, about 8 years ago or so, I had a saltwater tank. And I didn't understand YouTube. I just knew it was videos. I didn't know about money or any of that stuff. But I needed a way for my family to see my saltwater tank. So he set a channel up, and that was the name we settled on. And so I would, we would record the saltwater tank, and then my friends or family could go look. So when I started getting interested in the fish thing, I realized, oh, I have an account. So I just reactivated it, and luckily, I guess it still fits freshwater. It's not just a saltwater name.
Yeah, it does. It fishes it fishes. It fits anything fishy. So it works great. And I like the Dr. Seuss reference too. That's pretty cool. Bob has one red fish, blue fish, one fish,
right.
two fish. I don't remember how it goes, but I know that's part of it anyway.
That's
so
right.
You have a saltwater tank today?
No, sir, I do not. Just freshwater. The saltwater went away several years ago. Life, it takes you here and there. But nope, everything is strictly freshwater now.
All right. Well, one question I have is it really true what they say about saltwater tanks? that they're easier or just as easy as freshwater once you get them set up? For somebody that has done both, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I have been new to both. And in my opinion, I think it's probably maybe somewhat of a personality thing too. I don't know. I was always freaked out about maintaining the salinity. I was always worried about all of that. It's not that you don't worry about here. I just feel, for me personally, that once you get your plants going and your, everything going, I just feel this has been easier. But that's, again, a personal thing. I think there are some people that could look at, I don't know, any box of water, turn it into a saltwater tank, and they can just run with it. And I admire those people for sure.
Yeah, Raccoon Creek says that he thinks that they're about the same as far as maintenance, but it's more expensive for saltwater.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And sometimes I think there's probably, I think that, well, there are YouTubers out here that are proving that you can use things that are geared for freshwater that might not be priced quite as expensively. I think sometimes too, you say the word salt, I could be wrong, but beyond the livestock, I think maybe some equipment, might be priced higher. Maybe I'm wrong though. And, chime in anybody that knows differently.
Yeah, I found out that these guys in this chat, a lot of them know a whole lot more than I do. I'm just here to kind of facilitate things, and we talk to each other, and we learn a lot. So you're exactly right. A lot of these guys in the chats know a whole lot more than I do. So
me too.
I them a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Raccoon Creek just kind of gave me an awesome segue. He asked, how many tanks do you have? And that's something we were going to talk about here at the beginning, usually, of our chats here. When we get together, we talk about kind of fish room updates, but kind of want to just start with you a little bit, Liz, and just see how many tanks you have and what sizes and that kind of thing. You could kind of run through them real quick.
Sure. The first tank is actually a 70-gallon Rubbermaid stock tank that's right over here up on some concrete blocks, and it sits in my living room. That houses the feeder goldfish. I knew they were going to get big, but that houses the feeder goldfish that I used to have out in my water garden. And, they started out like a guppy, and they're now great big. I mean, they're the size of a small koi. So I have that obviously no heater. That's very little maintenance. And then I have in my bedroom a 20 long. It sits over top of a 20 high. Then I built the 40 breeder. And then I have not posted them yet. Pardon me. I have a new 10, a new 5, and then I have another 10-gallon tank out here that houses the gouramis, the ones that were in the video I did. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and counting.
7. That's how many I counted. That was 7. I kind of jotted them down as we went through. So that's kind of interesting, that Rubbermaid tank. So do you how do you like that kind of a setup? Do you have a filter on it, I suppose, and but no heater?
The filter is why I'm now doing freshwater tanks. I don't know how much of a delay there is on this, but I don't know if I could pan the camera around or not. It's okay. I built one of those 5-gallon bucket Skippy style filters. So it sits above it. It's elevated on a planter stand that's down inside the tub. And I needed to learn how to build one. So, I started watching, and wouldn't you know, up pops Corey's build a filter with a 5-gallon bucket video, and that was the end of it. So yeah, I love it. And I'll tell you, the added bonus that I never really would have thought of was the fact that I can seed pretty much anything in that. You know what I mean? I'll buy sponge filters, drop them down in. Flower pots, anything else I might need for decor, drop it down in. I just let it marinate. And then I have it for future projects. I like it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm sure that when it gets a little warmer here, which is going to be a lot faster than it does there, but in the spring, I'm probably going to do some tubs outside, and I can have a long season with tubs being here in Alabama. I can probably go from March all the way up till till just recently, till maybe a month ago, to October with the tub. So I'm probably going to try that. So it's going to be something similar to that, but it's going to be outside. So
yeah. I have a little 50-gallon water garden out there. I didn't put fish in it this year. I get a lot of frogs, and the frogs attract the snakes, which is fine, you know, and I got chipmunks and everything else out there. So I keep the fish inside now. And then I just, you know, watch all the other wild kingdom that's going on out around there in the summer.
yeah, I've seen one of your videos. I watched one that you did from outside, and I heard the water in the background. You know, that was kind of neat, relaxing, and all that.
Yeah.
Bob mentions that Gary Lang's recent video talks about Rubbermaid, so he says you ought to check that out.
I will. I definitely will. Thank you for that reference. I will definitely. Thanks, Bob.
River Life says marinate the decor to microwave the cycle.
That's right.
I like that, right? I like that. So tell us a little bit. Well, I can go ahead and tell you about the update in my fish room, I guess, now.
Sure.
I have quite a few tanks in this room. I've just added some more tanks in this room. I thought I'd maxed out when I got to the 12 tanks, but I decided to turn some of them sideways, so to speak, where you see the short end of the tank, and so I was able to get some more in here. But I've separated out some of my shrimp that I had in tanks with the guppies. I have some Neo shrimp that I keep as well, and I had them in with the guppies, but I kind of want to get some shrimplets and sort of start growing those colonies. So I separated those out to kind of try to let that happen more. I don't know that I've lost a lot of shrimplets, but I know that some people say you can keep them and some people say you can't. So
with guppies? Do you mean with guppies?
You can, but they say that your colony may not grow, that guppies may eat the shrimplets.
Okay.
So what do you think?
Well, again, not a shrimp expert by any means, but my 20 hine has my shrimp in it. And a former video of mine, I think it was called What a Wednesday, Lucky Schmuck, out of the kindness of his heart, had sent me about a dozen of the cherry shrimp. My cherry shrimp, they're in with tetras, and I'm talking like rainbow tetras. There are hatchet fish in that tank, glow light tetras, and there's another kind. Oh, the gold tetras. And they're all pretty big now. I mean, they'd be able to eat any shrimp they wanted in there. And I don't see it happening. And I have babies everywhere. So you might have better luck with that. I don't know, you know.
Yeah, I know that Corey a while back had, I mean, it's been one of his long ago videos, but I was just searching through looking for stuff on shrimp when I was getting into the Neos. And he had some for sure. And he was talking about the complete ecosystem with the guppies and the moss and the shrimp and the snails. And so I have that going on still in a couple of tanks. And so I haven't separated all of them out yet. I'm still trying that to see what happens there, but I separated out a few that I had. So I added like 3 or 4 different tanks to put some shrimp in. So then just today, some of you may have seen the video, I got in some wee little wigglers from Bob, some bristlenose plecos. Anyway, that was something that I had gotten in. And then I don't know if Mountaintop Fish is here or not, but I had actually got some White Cloud Mountain minnows from him. So I added those to the fish room this week. So that was some good additions for me. So I've really enjoyed the mountain minnows. Just came today, as did the plecos, and I've been in there watching those guys. And they're pretty cool watching them swim around, especially the plecos are just the teeny tiny little guys too. They're just, I don't know, Bob, how old are they? Maybe a week, if that. But yeah, so what do you have a certain thing that you primarily keep, Liz, or do you just like a variety of fish? I know people know for me, primarily I keep live bears, and then I have some shrimp that I've thrown in. But is there anything that you particularly like to keep, or is it just you? I think you have a variety, don't you?
I have a variety. I have types that I'm, let's say, maybe fonder, that I'm a little more endeared with than others, but I do a variety. I have the 20 long is an unheated, what I call sort of the pseudo hill stream tank that's got my hill stream loaches in it. It now has, for a little bit of color and spice there, I have the regular white cloud minnows, and then I bought a couple of the 24 karat, the gold minnows, and then I added some long fin leopard danios in there. So it's a nice mix. And then there are some neon blue gobies in there. So I'm very fond of sort of the oddball little fish like that. I have a soft spot for my honeycomb cats in my 20 high. I also have a whole bunch of Asian stone cats. They're otherwise known as anchor cats. And of course, tetras. I have tetras all over the place. So yeah, a variety. Love my gouramis, my sparklies. I don't know if I'll ever go to one thing.
Yeah, well, that's good. Variety is the spice of life, is what I've heard people say. That's definitely true somewhat. I've kind of branched out a little bit here lately and got some killifish and have some angelfish now too. So yeah, I've kind of branched out some too. Still have a lot of live bears. I have some Lemia perugiae, which are in there with the mountain minnows now, and so. Anyway, I think having a variety is fun. It's fun to watch. Of course, I have a community tank that you all have seen. I call the jungle or the forest or something like that, because it's just almost completely grown up. So I'm gonna have to trim that up some. So let's see what we've had going on in the chat while we've been chatting ourselves. Back up here, Bob said something about the salt water. He likens the salt versus fresh to women versus men's cost. Things like haircuts, clothes, etc. It's curious how women have been overcharged for the same items. So yeah, a man could get a haircut for $8 at the barbershop,
and I'm spending $85. He's spot on. Good call.
So he's saying, I guess the freshwater fish would be like the men, and I guess the saltwater fish would be likened to the women, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
That is a pretty cool analogy. I wanted to be sure and mention that, because he mentioned that, and I like that a lot. Some people talking about the weather here. We've had a lot of people joining in the chat too. Vinoski Tanks, Purple Gang, SC Fish Keeping, Heirloom Aquatics, Arachnid, Raccoon Creek, Learning to Fish Keep, Cameron's here, Bob here. So everybody here saying hello and everything. So anyway, tell us a little bit. I've liked watching some of your videos where you do the things with the DIY project. So how do you decide what you're going to do next? Where do you get your inspirations and things like that? I've noticed you've done like the coconut shell project, and you've done a few more too. So how do you get your inspiration, and how do you go about doing those things?
Well, I think there's that saying, necessity is the mother of invention, something like that. But anyways, in my case, I'm a crafter. I do make craft projects and decorating and that sort of thing as a previous, another hobby, I guess. And I have over 30-something years in architectural design. So I'm very detailed. Like my DIYs are if you notice, they're really detailed, and I know they're lengthy, which is why I put the timestamps in them. I never expect anybody to watch the whole thing. But because I need to see an entire process, I make them the way I would want to see them. So like for the skimmers, I knew that there were a lot of videos out there with them where you use the clear water bottle, for instance, the surface skimmer or a water polisher. You can use it either way. But me being the, aesthetically driven somewhat, I was like, well, I got to find something black. Now, Deb Tim was my actual inspiration for that. If you don't know who Deb Tim, a Canadian girl, is, I highly recommend her. She's very welcoming, and my God, she's got a million videos. Maybe Bob could link her up. She's a wonderful resource. But anyways, she uses this vinegar bottle that's black plastic. Well, I went through all the stores here and everything, and I was going to have to order it online, and it was a $9 bottle of vinegar, just to get the black plastic. And one day I will obsess about something for weeks. It's like when I used to design the buildings. I was just walking down the aisle at Lowe's, and all of a sudden I saw shop vac tubing. and the light went off. I thought, I think I can do this. And of course, the other one, I was at the liquor store. And then I suddenly realized, oh, you could get black plastic bottles at the liquor store. But I needed a skimmer for a smaller tank. I didn't want it to ripple as much on top. So that kind of came about that way. There's a lot of trial and error. I'm not a genius or anything. It's just more like, okay, I need this. I'll scour YouTube. And if I don't have luck or if I don't see what I want, like anybody else, I think you just kind of adapt. The shrimp thing, I don't even know where that came from. That worked out well, though. The moss, in fact, I was admiring the moss that's up in your tanks behind you. Is that Java moss?
That is Java moss. Yep.
Oh, wow. Because I try to grow it and does yours get everywhere? Does it?
Pretty much, yeah, you have to keep it under control. I split it up a lot and moved some out, and I haven't had to like get rid of any or give any away or anything like that just yet. But I can see that's going to be a point to where that's going to happen.
That's nice. But that's really kind of what it is. And I think the shrimp thing kind of happened where I had these coconut shells, and I do make planters for them for like gravel bottom tanks, where, pardon me, you don't necessarily have dirt or a good gravel to put plants down into. So before I really built the dirted tank, this tank is dirted, by the way, I didn't have a lot of confidence, you know what I mean? And I had to take baby steps. So I just started putting them in the coconut shells because I like the organic look. And that way, if it didn't work, I could leave it or move it or tear it apart or do whatever I had to do. And I guess just one day I was looking and I'm like, okay, all the real estate on the floor of my tank is now taken up. What am I, you know what I mean? How can I bring more plants in, or how can I break up the tank wall? And the shrimp, it just happened. And I mean, I've shown, updated pictures like on Instagram or such. And I mean, it's doing great. So, again, I guess I don't know. I need something and I got to come up with a way to find it.
Yeah, you had a room on the ground, so you had to build up, kind of like a rise.
Yeah.
Up and building the tank up instead of out, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the planted tanks too. The way been following the 40 breeder you've been working on behind you there, and how you've been doing that, and all the different things you've been adding to that tank, and how you did that. That was really pretty cool. I don't really have what I would call a scaped tank yet. I have tanks that have plants in them, but I for sure wouldn't call them scaped tanks. They're just they're functional, but they're not always, and they're still beautiful, but it's not something like it's been planned out, sort of like what you had done there. And that's something that my next project, not next, it'll come out here, but the next major project is going to be some 20 longs that I've gotten through the Petco $1 a gallon sale, which that was something that you mentioned there. When did you say that goes off again?
Through Saturday the 17th, I believe.
Okay, yeah, so they go through Saturday the 17th. So Liz had a public service announcement for everybody that if you're going to get your $1 a gallon tanks, you got to go by Saturday. I think Sunday will start their new sale, and then they won't be $1 a gallon anymore. And I don't know you guys, but I've been checking out the Black Friday deals already, and I have not seen any $1 a gallon sales or anything like that on tanks for the Black Friday season yet. So there may be some before Christmas is over, but I haven't seen any yet. So get your tanks while you can. I know I was in my Petco just today, as a matter of fact, and picked up another 20 long. So I got the last 20 long they had. So hopefully they'll have what you need when you go in, though.
Oh boy, now you're scaring me.
I scared you. I forgot. Liz, she didn't mention that she snowed in. Did you mention that?
Well, we're working on it. Yeah, we're working on it being snowed in.
So she can't get out so much and travel as much right now, but she's hoping to get out and get some tanks though later. But it's not worth risking an accident over, I don't guess. Although sometimes these tanks can be pretty important.
They are. No, I agree. And again, it's not a paid endorsement or a shameless plug, but if you get your tank this week, again, I would steer you to Aquarium Co-op, though. Corey is offering a whole bunch of Black Friday sales each week through November. And I know he was discussing them on his live stream last night. I think a lot of you have seen the little snail catcher that I got with last week's sale. But definitely hop on there because I think he's doing filters next week. This week right now is his name brand stuff. So if you're looking for your easy green fix or any of that other stuff, you could pick it up a little cheaper.
Yeah, that's awesome. I glanced at it, and I may get some stuff before this name branded part goes off because I use this Easy Green myself, and it works well for me. So we've had several more people come in the chat here. I know Isaiah's come in, and Susan, the Fish Fan Mom, has joined us. We're glad you're with us, Susan.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Yeah, hey, Mom. Oh, and there's Jake coming in. I hope I haven't missed anybody. I may, if I do. Vinosky Tanks, I think I mentioned you, but if I do, I'm not trying to exclude you. Sometimes when you're doing these chats, you just kind of miss a few people as they show up. So as you speak up in the chat, hopefully I'll notice you next time. So yeah, SC Fishkeeping said Petco $1 a gallon delivery service would be $1 million idea. So yeah, it would be a pretty cool idea, especially for Leo's right about now. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so Leah, tell us a little bit about your hats.
The hats. Oh, well.
Yeah, we've all seen the hats, but tell us back, and I actually know where the hats came from because I watched that video just a day or two ago. Actually, I think it was the first time you had used the tinfoil hat, maybe. But tell us a little bit about the hats. We've all seen the pictures from the aquatic experience and where you're gallivanting around with your tinfoil hat. So tell us a little bit about how that came about.
Well, the credit goes to two people. Multi-Tank Addiction, who again has some, very nice laid back weekend streams. I was in his stream. I think it was a Sunday morning or whatever. And I was new. I don't think I had much more than maybe 20 subs, 20, 25. I mean, I'm talking new, but I stumbled on it and thought, wow, these people are very nice. So I would start hanging there. And I don't know if all of you know who Mr. B's Fishing Things is. Maybe you've encountered him in some streams or on his channel. It's MISTERB' Fishing Things. Well, one of the channel jokes in there, inside joke, I guess, is about tinfoil hats. So as I got, more comfortable talking to them and whatnot, it ended up where Mr. B on Chris's stream challenged me to do a shout out video wearing a tinfoil hat. So I kind of hemmed and hawed because I'd never shown myself on camera before. And, it's terrifying. But I figured if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it with style. So that's where that hat came from. So when I went to AE, I wore it. I know I wore it the whole time. Number one, it made it very easy for Susie Q and New York Gold to find me as we palled around for most of the weekend. They would just look for the bobbing hat. But I wore it to kind of tell Mr. B hi, thank him for the inspiration. The lemon hat that I made for the challenge I made it to get in the spirit of things. I figured, like I say in the video, you can't wear a tinfoil hat to a lemon challenge. You got to wear a lemon hat. So dollar store sand bucket, the chin strap was the handle. It was cutting into my face. But hey, anything for a cause. I messaged Candy to see if I'd be allowed to put Caleb's name on the hat. I didn't want to be intrusive or anything. And we had a good time with it. So that's all there is to it.
Yeah, that lemon challenge, I'm glad I wasn't necessarily around on FishTube there. I'm not sure how I would handle the lemon challenge. And what cracked me up is that you didn't just take one bite, but you went back for a second bite.
Oh, yeah.
Were you required to take 2 bites?
No. It was just sort of, okay, I'm this far into it, I'm going to do it. And I swallowed everything except the seeds. So, that rind, oh, yeah.
That might have been a time when I might have tried to get by with just getting by with the bare minimum. You were an overachiever on that one. So,
well, some people put like hot sauce, Tabasco sauce. I mean, it got crazy, but yeah, I stopped at that. No Tabasco sauce, thanks.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But I thought that was pretty funny, and it was great to support a good cause. It's kind of like the water bucket challenge that they've done in the past and different things like that, which it's always great to do things like that to bring awareness to different things. And so that was good of you to do that. I've seen several people here with had a couple of comments. One was there was a question. Oh, ma'am, how long did it take your Java moss to get like that? Well, I've split Java moss out, but this this behind me here was probably it's been in this tank for a couple of months, not that long. So yeah, it didn't take that long, but it grows pretty fast. I do dose it with Easy Grain. I don't dose it like regularly, like you probably should, but whenever I think about it, I put a couple of squirts in there, maybe once every couple of weeks, and I've split some out from that as well. But it just grows pretty well in my water for some reason. I know some people have better luck with it than others, but I have pretty good luck with it. So if anybody has any things to add or questions for Liz or whatever, just put them in the chat there. She said not to make them too hard. I promised I wasn't going to ask her any like really difficult questions. The problem is, though, is if I was to ask questions like that, I'd have to know the answers, and I don't have all the answers, so I have to keep my questions simple. So I see Raccoon Creek said that the lemon challenge was during his little hiatus from YouTube, and he was sad he missed it. I'm sure you were.
Well, not for nothing, Raccoon Creek. They do say better late than never.
They do say that. You're exactly right. I saw somebody was leaving. I know we're bleeding over into Jeff Rowe's chat, so I'm glad we've still got some people here. We're probably going on for a little while longer, till we start seeing everybody leave us. And if it's just the two of us left here, then we'll probably end it. But glad you all are joining us on this little chat. I know I saw someone in the chat earlier talked about your late night chats. I believe Vinotsky's Tank said he missed your late night chats that you used to have, like outside with the candlelight. Are you planning on starting those up again?
Yeah. I'm looking into, honest to God, like a heated stadium blanket or something. I am bound and determined to do one to see if I can manage one out there, not during a snowstorm. I can't do them when it precipitates because the deck above me is a deck. It's not a roof. So I still get dripped on, and I don't want to damage my equipment or anything, but I am intending to get out there even if it's cold. I invested in some Under Armour and I'm getting ready. So yeah, I definitely want to do one.
Well, that's cool. I checked out one of those in particular.
Oh God.
Yeah, you knew I was going to bring this up. I have to. It was hilarious. It wasn't probably hilarious for you at the moment. I could tell that you were pretty serious about it. But I'd like to ask if anybody here knows what I'm talking about before we talk about it. I think she's gotten a little bit of a reputation for what this is, but maybe nobody here was a part of that. But
a lot of these are names I think that are newer. Vinotsky might have been there that night. I'm not sure.
Sweeney. Yeah, maybe many of you haven't. We need to Bob or Cam or Susan, if you can. You could link up that particular video. What is it called? Friday night
by candlelight, and I think it was there's a timestamp in there in my first comment to the part that I'll never be able to get rid of.
Yeah, so somebody, if you can find that Friday night by candlelight, it's a live stream that she did a while back, and I just want to ask you about Sam Squatch.
Yeah.
It wasn't Sasquatch, but Sam Squatch.
Yeah, Sam Squatch. That's what we named him that night. And you'll see. I mean, if you go look, it turned out to be two foxes apparently trying to get a date in the spring, if you get my drift. And I had no idea that a fox sounded like that. So I heard it and I thought somebody was being killed on the golf course across the street from me. I mean, yeah, it was memorable. So there is, like I say, he's not made an appearance in some time, but shortly after that stream, yeah, scream. There is a Sam Squanch Aquatics that once in a while will pop in and out, you know, when he's out and about. You never know.
Yeah, but you guys, you need to check it out. It's not illegal, Bob. It wasn't anything illegal, but it was pretty funny. There was she was just having a nice time chilling out there on the patio there on the deck or whatever it was, and all of a sudden something made a noise in the back, and it's almost like Liz's ears perked up, and she turned around to see what was going on because for a minute she wasn't quite sure what it was, and it was funny to look back on that. So yeah, that was pretty funny though. I had to bring that up. So if we don't get it linked here, just check it out. Y'all be sure and go and check out Liz's channel too, by the way. She mentioned a lot of these people are new. We've had up to 24 maybe viewers in at a time. So y'all go back and check out Liz's channel. She's got some great stuff on her channel as well. So check out hers. We've linked it several times. The vid title again, I think, is Friday Night by Candlelight.
Yeah. Dee might have been there for that down the wormhole. She might have been there.
If she was not lurking, she just got here. So yeah, Dee, were you there for the Sam Squatch event?
I can't remember.
With Liz? I don't remember who was in the chat. I was looking at it, but I don't remember. I was watching the live stream too because that was like one of the more interesting parts to watch as to how people reacted to you in that moment. You know,
that was about the only interesting part. They're very laid back streams. You know, anybody who's been to one, we just kind of sit and chat, and you can chat about anything. You know, a lot of people come in, so it's definitely. I got too busy during the golf season because I do work at a country club. So I did kind of drop out for a while, didn't do the streams. And then for the last month or so, the kids all went back to college. And there's like 5 of us, you know, trying to finish the season out. And it was just too much. You know, I just was burned out and everything. So I'm back though. It's a good thing. I want to say hi to a couple more people, if it's okay.
Oh, of course, yes.
I see that Sherry Swinney joined, and I've not run into Sherry for some time. So hi, Sherry. And Pet Sodix. And, of course, Dee from Down the Wormhole came in. And I have been reading all the things that all the other people have been saying. Hi, Purple Gang. I think we know one another. But I definitely wanted to say hi to Sherry because I've not seen her in quite a while. So it's good to see you here.
Hey, this is our stream, so whatever you want, you just go right ahead, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, you're the guest here, so if you got something to say, just speak up and say it. We're fine.
All right.
It's not too late. You're a little late, buddy, but it's okay. I'm sure you were probably sleeping because you got to work tonight, I bet. But
oh, can I mention one thing? I think Bob asked if I would eventually have anything to sell. Well, a goal I do have is to eventually, you know, if something were to breed here, and I had fish to share or sell or whatever, certainly. Right now, I know Otter Creek and a handful of other people that were in his first stream the other night indicated an interest in some of my frog bit, excuse me, frog spawn, that's saltwater. Frog bit, the floating, I have a ton of it. I looked it up and I have the cost of shipping is $7.20, but I will give you a great big gob of it. So anybody that was in that stream the other night, or if anybody else would like some frog bit, I have an email, OneFishTwofishROC, and I have a PayPal account set up. And if you just want to PayPal me the shipping, I will get it right out to you in the 2-day mail. But I do owe some people some frog bit here.
All right. Well, that's great. Yeah, I was one of the ones, so I'll get you that. We'll get that fixed up because I want
Oh,
some of
that's
that.
right.
The I know an interesting fish that I haven't seen that much on is the honeycomb cat that you have. How many of those do you have, and where are they living, and how are they doing? That was one that when I was watching some, that was one that was of particular interest to me, and probably would be to some of the others as well.
Mine live actually, they live in the 20 high, and I know I update videos on all my tanks. They are forthcoming, everyone. I definitely want to get some up. They live in the driftwood. I have a great big piece of Malaysian in there, and they will get embedded right up in the cracks of the stuff, kind of like a loach would, or even a pleco to some extent. And they're primarily nocturnal, but you can kind of get them to come out like I did in that video. They'll pretty much do anything for a bloodworm. So I have 4 of them in my 20 high, and then I have one in a 10-gallon over here. And one of these days, when I get the frog bit cleaned out and I can get down in that tank, it's my intention to take one and move it to one of the other tanks. I highly recommend them. They are hilarious to watch. They're not like a big cleanup crew fish or anything. They're just cool looking and they're friendly. They should not be aggressive with your fish or eat fry or anything. They're just after bloodworms. Comical to watch though. I mean, barrel rolls, you name it. It's like they just go crazy.
Yeah, I thought they were very interesting when I watched that video on your channel. I see a couple of people here talking, I think, still about the Samsquatch event.
No.
Yeah. I think SC Fish Keeping says that was the first video that he saw on your channel.
Oh God. Either that or maybe it was the honeycombs.
And there's Vinotsky Tanks. You said maybe he was there. Bob found his honeycombs when he was chasing plecos a couple of days ago. He was chasing those plecos for me.
I have a question for Bob. So you have 3 of yours. Do you have more than 3? And also, do they all kind of hide and you don't see them for a while, or yours real quiet too?
I see SC had saw the honeycombs first, but has already checked out the Friday night stream.
Yeah, right.
We're going to make you famous yet.
Infamous, more like. I don't know if Bob heard, he might be busy right now, but yeah, I'm just curious to know how many Bob has, and like I say, whether they're really reclusive.
Where can you buy bloodworms in Arizona? Is that Arizona? Purple Gang? And there's our answer from Bob.
I see it. Thank you.
Yeah, just the 3. They hide unless he feeds them. And they'll eat bloodworms from tweezers. Hey, that's pretty good. Purple Gang, you can probably get bloodworms in Arizona from any either a local fish store, probably, or if you have a Petco, PetSmart, Pet Supplies Plus, all those places will have frozen bloodworms. And that's how I feed the bloodworms, or the frozen ones. I'll thaw them out and feed them like that. You can put them in there frozen, I think, but I prefer to thaw mine out.
Yeah. Oh, Bob, another question for Bob, and I'm only asking because he has these fish. I read once where they will gobble up too much and literally have the little honeycomb cat equivalent of a carb coma, where suddenly they just stop right wherever they are. It doesn't matter. They stop and it's like they can't swim for a couple of minutes. Just wondering if yours behave that way.
Okay, yeah, Jake said, yeah, you can get them at the local fish store too. And Heirloom Aquatics, that's very nice. I appreciate it. I can't get super chats yet. I haven't made it to the threshold, so but I appreciate the sentiment and the thought. That's awesome. Yes, they will. Oh, Bob, River Life Rack had a question for us too while we're waiting on Bob to answer. He said, "What's our favorite fish, and what is the next fish?"
Oh boy.
What's
You
your
go
favorite?
first.
You want me to go first? Oh
Yeah.
man, okay. Um, Man, my favorite fish. My next fish is going to be some more plecos because I know they're on the way. So that was an easy one. That's going to be my next fish. It's going to be plecos because they're already on their way. They're going to be some blue-eyed bristlenose plecos. So looking forward to getting those. My favorite fish, my goodness, I can't. It sure is hard to decide. I still love my panda guppies a lot. I think they may be one of my more favorite fish, but man, they're all so awesome. It's hard for me to pick one.
Yeah. Well, I'm especially fond of, I gotta say, my hill stream loaches. Not only the reticulated, I've got them, they've hit them in different patterns, and I just, there's a soft spot in my heart for them. I gotta say, it's just something about them. I love those little guys.
Yeah, hill stream loach. So what's going to be your next fish?
Okay. Well, if my fish enabler Cassie doesn't post it first, I know she's got some up. Remember, Cassie's Critters is she runs the LFS I buy my stuff at. So she's recently, I've inspired her and I've dragged her into the fish fam. So now she has a channel, and I helped her unbox some stuff the other day. And there are two species that we got that I have my name on the tanks. I will say one of them is a species of tetra, and the other is, I guess I can say it, but I won't say which one. She's been waiting a very long time for a pistos. So I think my 40 breeder, there's a little hut, with a little doorway, and I put that in there for a reason. So I'm hoping I'll be able to get something that's going to live in the hut.
I see. Okay, well that's pretty cool. Yeah, those loaches. Are those the blue loaches? Is that what?
The blue?
You have those blue, neon blue. What?
Those are gobies.
Gobies. That's right, gobies.
Gobies. I just like, as much as I love, the plants in the heat, there's just something about being able to run a tank and not have to worry about the heater, and I leave my Venturi on, so it's not the full blown river manifold, the fancy, it's just a power head pointed in one direction, and they're all doing fine. I don't know. I like the idea of the colder species from a convenience standpoint. But next two are I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead and finish up.
Oh, the next two species I'm getting, though, they require some heat.
Yeah, if Brandon was here, he would love the fact you said that, because his thing with Maple Street Aquatics is he's trying to create a fish room where you don't need to have a whole lot of heaters. So anyway, that's pretty neat to do. And I have some tanks now that I'm trying that way as well, more so the shrimp tanks than anything else. But yeah, Cassie's channel, if somebody could link her channel up here, I bet you there's some people that haven't seen her channel, and she's putting out some great things. Bob mentioned that she is she's an up and coming aquascaper because she has some natural talent for that. I noticed that when she was doing using the coconut shells and the little pots that you'd given her and all. That was pretty neat. So
yeah.
Link her channel up. It'd be awesome for us to all go support her. I think she's gonna have some really neat things coming up. And it's pretty neat, this, that you have your own your name on a tank at your local fish store. Do they just keep that tank for you, and they just put fish in there each time?
Yes. When they're able to mix the species, they're just put it in Elizabeth's tank. Yep. My name's been on that tank pretty much since February, because there's just always something she's willing to hold for me. Not a true quarantine, but I have to say, at least I know that they've stabilized. If something was really going to get that sick, it would have been that sick, or you know what I mean? It would have shown. And because I live over there pretty much, I would I would see it. You know, it wouldn't be a matter of, oh God, half of them died, you know, let's throw them away when she's not here. So I just check. Oh, your lights went out. The all your tanks just went out.
Yeah, they did. They do that. Apparently at 8:20, since the time changed, this should be a little bit later than that, but I haven't changed it since we had the change, so it should be an hour later than that. But they decided to go out already. Looks like we had a bunch of people coming in the chat here from. I met China, and I've met 2 chicks over on Rob's streams, and looks like they were having a stream and decided to come on over and do a little raid. So
thank you.
So that's sweet. Thank you a lot, guys. Yeah, it's good to spread the love across the platform, so to speak. Well, it's all on YouTube. There, she's had a heart for you guys. I don't know if you saw that or not. But yeah, it's great to spread the love across the different genres, I guess would be a better thing. We're the Fish Fam, and some other guys have their own thing, but it's always great to share. And Liz was talking about that just earlier, about how all different kinds of people from different walks come into her late night streams that she does on the late night Friday night candlelights or whatever she used to do, that we're going to hopefully come back up. So, but we appreciate everybody coming in here and joining us. So if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to these guys. Don't forget Liz's channel. If somebody could put that back up again, subscribe to her as well. It's been great talking to her. So yeah, I noticed that you had, are you a bird watcher as well?
Yeah.
You like birds?
I love birds. I have a lot of bird feeders, and my bluebirds, I got very lucky that they chose my little house, you know, a couple seasons ago. I mean, it's not even, you know, but just a couple of yards from my back door, which is, you know, they're brave little birds. But yeah, I have fed the birds pretty much since I was a kid. So I have to finish now with the snow. They'll all start coming. So I'll have to put another 6 or so of them up. When they're all up, I think there's about a dozen feeders of different types. So yeah, I'm a bird nut too.
Well, I like birds as well. I don't have as many bird feeders. I have a couple, but the bluebirds hatching was a pretty cool video too that I like to watch, because it was sort of a thing where you'd go through and several different things would be you know, coming through. So as you went through, one would hatch and have to go back and check, and finally, I guess all the eggs hatched, right?
I got lucky this year. Yeah, I had 3 broods, and every single egg hatched this year. So there were total of 14 new ones this year that went out into the world, and they'll all separate, you know, in the spring when they're all pairing up and they get territorial. But now they'll all start flocking up, and they'll all start coming back to the feeder. They stay here. Some migrate, but a lot of them don't. So I will probably have a fair decent amount of the chunk of the family that I have. They'll come back to my feeder over the winter. All winter.
So they come back. You think the same ones maybe come back year after year?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm no scientist or anything, but I can just tell by the mannerisms. And there's a couple of them that have, with their feathers and their, you know, there's just a couple distinctive features that I can recognize now. And they'll come when I whistle. You know, they associate my whistle with when I'm filling the feeder. So I can go out back and just whistle. And next thing you know, they'll start showing up in the trees, which is kind of cool.
That is cool. It's like you have your own little bluebirds there. Kind of like, what was it, Snow White that would sing and the birds would come and land on her shoulders? And
True.
That's pretty
no
cool.
Look at these people. Wow. Hey, I see a lot of names that are unfamiliar to me. So I just want to say thank you for coming over to visit Bam and I. And when this is done, I'm going to be re-rolling. I assume you'll leave it up for a bit, Bam?
Oh, it'll automatically go to the stream.
Okay. I just want to be able to go back, you know, if I need to, and hunt those people all down that were kind enough to come over.
Yeah, it'll stay up, and they'll be it'll stay up there. It's like one of my videos. So yeah, it'll be there.
Good.
Yeah, New York Gold came to join us for a little bit.
That's great.
Aqua Balls came on in.
Hi.
We had a lot of visitors from China, and two chicks came over to do a little raid for a few minutes, and I think some of them have all gone their separate ways now to maybe their next stop, but that was nice of them to stop by.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well,
So
thank you.
another fish that I kind of like that I haven't heard a lot about that I noticed that you had is the Von Rio tetra.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's in the tank behind you, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. There, if you have, if I don't know how well the tank is really showing up. I was going to maybe put some food down in there to see if they would all come close to the front. Hold on just a minute here. See if I can find something. I have, it's either, I think about 7 or 8 of the Von Rios. And if you look at them in the stores, there's one that's more of a flame, it's also known as a flame tetra, but there's one that's more sort of an ombre look where it's sort of orange, reddish, and yellow. And then I have the ones that have the little stripes on the side. There. Ooh, I kind of overfed, but they'll get it. I have about 15 Amano shrimp in this tank. And I'll tell you something, those things are crazy. Seriously, it's amazing what they can do. They'll eat anything.
Yeah, I noticed the shrimp basically eat whatever's in the tank pretty much.
They'll run away with it. I mean, you drop a wafer in there and they'll come right in and snag the wafer and literally run away. I need to get it on film. I mean, they just grab it and they run away. And then one tries to take from another and he won't let it, it's like watching two kids. So yeah, they're very amusing.
I saw one video where there was a shrimp dragging off something that a pleco or something was trying to eat. I don't remember where it was, or maybe it was a cory cat. I think it was. But the shrimp was dragging it off, and the cory was trying to eat it, and the shrimp was just dragging it away. So I don't remember where I saw that, but that's pretty cool. Well, Rob 93 showed up in the house. How you doing, Rob? Good to have you with us. Yeah, if you can talk a minute, show us the tank. You'll have to talk, so it'll turn to you, and maybe you can explain what's going on in the tank.
All right.
Because if you don't talk, it won't show you. So.
Oh, we all know I don't like to talk, right? Yeah, New York Gold can attest to that. Can you see it better? Does it show better, Bam?
It does. Yes.
Okay. This tank, I had to go back and look. This tank was pretty much born in around July, the beginning of July. And yeah, it was an extensive build. I treated it like a building. I mean, I built the foundation, down in the dirt, but it's evolved. I've since added flower pots with plants in them. Some plants I got from the aquatic experience. I don't know how well, can you see the growth down here? This is a dirted tank.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So none of this was here. I mean, I have a video, I think it's the 40 breeder, and you'll see what the plants look like when I first put them in, but now it's just crazy. My spiderwood I have suspended from above, and then, the bubbling creek is working. It's doing real well. But this is a nice tank. I'm really, really happy with it.
Yeah. Yeah, those tetras though, the Von Rio tetras, I haven't. I'm sure I've seen them before somewhere, but I just noticed how beautiful they were. They almost look like rainbow fish.
Maybe, yeah. I like these because of the stripe in them. I don't know how well it's showing. I mean, obviously you could probably see other people's, videos that are Von Rio centric, if you will, to look at them. I actually saw a couple of them breeding the other day, but as fast as she was dropping the eggs, this group over here was eating them up. Those are my neon green tetras, and of course the rummy nose that I have in there. But the whole crowd of fish was following this pair. And as soon as she'd let the eggs go, everybody just went crazy.
Yeah, that's a beautiful tank. A lot of people in the chat are talking about how beautiful it is. I love the escape that you've got in there, and I really enjoyed watching how you did that and some of the techniques you used, especially the. You said it was a one fish, two fish ROC because you had used some zip ties.
Yeah, there's zip ties in there holding the wood up above. I have them suspended on zip ties that are taped to the back of the tank, so I can adjust them, or if I have to move them, for cleaning or an equipment repair or change or something, it makes it easy. Guess where I got my dirt from?
I have no idea.
Alabama.
Did you?
Yeah. Again, sorry, these references to my video, but it dawned on me. I think I might have tried to ask you, have you ever heard of Bama Plants? That's one word, BamAplants.com.
I have not.
Well, I've gotten all my spider wood from him, and I might be able to hunt the address up, or his address might be on his website. Maybe he's a neighbor and you don't realize it, but he makes a mineralized topsoil kit, sort of, that you saw in the video, and it's great. I didn't have to. I know I could have gone and bought my own at the store or whatever, but he knew how to mix it. You know what I mean? He added the clay, just the right amount of the clay and the potash and all that other stuff for the plants. So I just buy from him, and his shipping's not that bad. As a matter of fact, I just ordered another 15 pounds of it. So, only this hobby can we get excited over a box of rocks or sticks or dirt.
That's right. You're exactly
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and I'm going to check that out, BamAplants.com, huh?
Yes, yes. And if you see something that's sold out, you email him. A lot of times it's sort of a one-man operation. So sometimes he probably has it. So don't necessarily be discouraged if it says sold out.
There, Bob actually put a link right there as well, BamAplants.com. So
thank you.
Warning, Rob said, I guess Aquafunk Angel Freak's going to be on at 9 my time, I think. So
good.
Yeah, a good one, and good to have you here, Mel, Hawaiian Peacock here. Don Gallagher showed up here. Is there anybody else I've missed? I may have missed some people, but we sure are glad to have everybody here. We've had quite a few people in the chat as we've been going here.
Yeah,
people coming in and out. Jake Buchanan. And he had a question for you. We missed some of these questions, I think.
I know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What is your lighting?
Up here?
I think he means on your tank.
I would hope. If not, for anybody that used to go, I do have the candle. Can't stream without a candle. This is the Fluval 3.0. I saved drunk golfer money for that. Tips, that's what funded my AE trip. I just start saving a year in advance. To anybody that wants to go, if you put away 10, 15 bucks a week, you can go. I mean, that'd be enough to cover airfare, hotel, and a good time. So definitely save up a little bit each week. And I hope, more of us can get together at that time next year. I mean, I just had a wonderful time. But no, this is a Fluval 3.0. All my lighting is from Corey, with the exception of 2 small night crew fixtures that I bought real quick from Amazon for quarantine tanks. The rest of the lighting that I use on my tanks are all Stingray. I've had good luck with those Stingrays. And they've dropped in price considerably compared, with the 3.0 and all the fancier stuff coming out. The Stingrays have gotten pretty much within reach.
Yeah, that's awesome. I use, of course, I don't have any lights on my tanks as of the moment because they shut themselves off, but I pretty much use the Aquaneat lights. You didn't ask me, but they work pretty well for me. I know there's quite a few other people that use some of those as well, and they're cheaper, but so far they've been okay for me. I don't have any really high-tech plants that have to have any special lighting or anything like that. So right now they do fine for me. So anyway, and Hawaiian Peacock says $15 a week. He can do that.
Well, that's what I did. I opened a seat. I didn't know where I was going to go a year ago, obviously, but I had, just by chance, I opened up a CD a year ago at my bank so that I couldn't get back into it. You know what I mean? It was locked. It wasn't going to make any money really, no interest, very little, but that wasn't the point. I wanted to make sure I couldn't touch it. And I put money in. I know this sounds goofy, but if you look for what they call the 52-week budget, there's a 52-week challenge out there where you have 52 weeks to make 52 deposits, $1 through $52. And if you do that, I believe it ends up to be about $1,379 at the end of the 50-second deposit. That's plenty, I think, to take a trip. Now, granted, I'm no airfare expert, but that's a pretty decent chunk of change, to get you in there or with a little extra, that can buy you a really fun time at the AE.
Yeah, when you break it down like that, it doesn't sound like it's much. When you try to add it up in your head, when you're thinking about having to make the reservations or do all that, it sounds like a lot. But when you break it down by the week like that, that's a smart way to do it.
That's how I did it. And it matured right in time, and boom, I was good to go. So what you could do, I suppose, go to your bank and see if they have a vacation fund, or, if you have more self-control, good for you. But I don't always have a lot of self-control, the hobby, but I can't tell you enough. New York Gold can attest to it. It was fun. It was fun. You ran all over the place. You're close to restaurants. I know, there's been a little bit of joking here or there about, New Jersey. There's always those jokes, about be careful in New Jersey or New York, but it's a great area, hotels everywhere. It's well worth it. Just do it. That's all I can say. Just do it.
Do you have any thoughts of going to the Aquashella? I know they've got a couple of those coming up in between there.
July in Chicago, or August. I'm sorry. I believe the March one is in the end of March. I won't be able to go to that. But I'm going to try very hard to get in a car and drive to Chicago with Susie Q. So there are plans being made. And the reason why we want a road trip, of course, is because if you buy one of those, if you stick around till Sunday, you can buy tanks, you can get all kinds of stuff on sale. So, we're both like, well, if we buy stuff, we want to be able to put it in the car. So that's why we're going to do it that way.
Right. A road trip from here could be done to Chicago. I don't think it's but maybe 6 or 7 hours from here to Chicago. So that would be doable. So I'm thinking about maybe going to that one as well. So we'll see.
Well, and you never know, there might be somebody else in your area that could carpool or caravan with you, for safety or whatever. I think I've got Cassie talked into it, so I think she's hopefully going to come with us as well. But yeah, I'd love to go to Aquashella. I'm hoping I can get there.
Well, all right. That sounds good. We still have 16 people, but I can see the numbers kind of starting to drop, and we've kind of been through our topics, and everybody's getting ready to go over and spend some time with Aqua tonight. So I guess maybe it's time that we wrapped it up for tonight.
Yeah.
Last minute questions, just throw those out there, and we'll try to answer them. But we will, Sherry Sweeney, keep you in mind. Okay, I will.
She's wonderful. She'd be another good guest for your channel, I think.
Sherry. What would I'm trying to decide. I might have missed something. Keep her in mind for what? I can't remember. Maybe I'm supposed to know something that I don't.
Maybe carpooling to Chicago. I think Sherry, you're down near Rick and Fish Fan Mom too, right? I think Sherry is.
Okay. That's probably what it is. It seems like I remember that name as being somewhere nearby, but yeah, we ought to, Mel said we ought to roll in there next year with Fish Mob shirts on. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Fish Mob or Team Green Alliance, there's been some talk of having some shirts like that made too. You can have a different one for each day or something maybe.
Yep.
Well, all right, we'll wrap it up for tonight. But Liz, I sure do appreciate having you on tonight.
Thank you for having me. And thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming by. I really, really appreciate it. I love all you guys. I hope you know that.
Yeah, we had a good time tonight hanging out. So So yeah, Sherry, I'll keep you in mind to thinking about that. That might be something good. So we'll sign off for now, but next week, I think we're going to try to come on. I'm going to have Susie from Q Aquatics on.
Yay.
It'll be Thanksgiving night. We're going to go ahead and do it on Thanksgiving night. After you filled up with turkey and all that stuff, you can stop back by and talk a little fish. You'll be tired of talking turkey, so you can talk fish then that night. So I think we may do it at 7 o'clock, but we'll have it posted up before then. But thanks for coming by, and thank you again, Liz, and we'll be seeing y'all again later.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you over at Funk's, I think. So take care, be safe, and stay warm.
Yes, ma'am. You be safe, too.
Bye-bye.